Okay, great.
Yes.
So good morning, everybody, and we are very excited to do this official webinar for MIS. We have been working on this for almost 18 months, and we had some challenges, and that's why it couldn't be launched last year, but here we are. So I'll show a couple slides before just to get an idea about this whole system, and then we will start doing each dashboard for students and faculty and the coordinators one by one. So, so the history of MIS, it's taking a little time to transit the slides.
You changed your slide, but it doesn't show on there.
Doesn't show that.
We'll just keep talking.
Yeah. So just to talk a little bit about the history of the MIS, in the last funding cycle, we did have this MIS, which is a software called FileMaker. There it is. It was launched in the last funding cycle, but the challenge we had was it was an in-house software, so only it was sitting on the CUNY server, and we couldn't share this with our other partner institutions. So for this funding cycle, we transitioned to make it more cloud or web-based. This allows us to give access to each campus and have multiple users logging in. With the previous one, it was a license-based, so we had only a license for about 5 users. So here we can have up to 75 to 100 users with this new system. So this system is like a RDMs. It is a cross-platform or cross-sectional, and the reason is because, as you know, our program is a multi-layered program. It has many elements to it. We are not only at CUNY, but we have other campuses as well. So there is a multiplexity going on vertically and horizontally. So in order to maintain such a system, it was really critical for us to build this kind of a customized database, which is, all campuses can access it. We have a relational database between mentor and mentee. We have a relational database between recruitment of the students to nomination of the students. We have a relational database of publications, which is both accessed by the mentors and the mentees. The research and development database, reporting database. And the good thing about this new system is it allows you to upload the files all in one place. As you may imagine, most of the time, we get emails and as attachments and we don't receive it, or they are misplaced. We're all busy in our own world. So this is a good way of repositing all the files, important files like the mentoring award letter, letter of understanding, the RCR, all the files that are critical for this project or report or program can be stored at one place. And as you can see, just the nature of the complexity of the relational database, just throw in this slide as to see how the system talks to one another at different levels and different level of users as well. So another aspect of this is, as you know, this new award requires a thorough evaluation. Aside from an external evaluator who would do the summative assessment or quantitative assessment, we are also required to do an internal assessment and monitoring of the program, both in terms of students and in terms of research, in terms of management, and above all, the critical part is the budget. So this database has the ability to analyze the data at different levels: recruitment, how many students applied, how many students were recruited, how many students were nominated, how many students graduated or retained the program from an undergraduate level to graduate level, and of course the postgraduate tracking. So it's a very strong analytical tool. You can query the data the way you want. You can slice and dice the data as to how many Hispanic students were graduated from which constituency. This is something that comes all the time from congressional delegation. They want to know how many students were, impacted by this program. in California State or in Virginia State. So data query is very important for us based on the data calls from NOAA. And sometimes the calls can come in on a Friday night, and they need this for the session that's meeting on Monday morning. So we do not have the time to go to all our campuses, but here we go. We have this system in place. We can just go in and crack the data and get that information to NOAA and the Congress. We can interpret the data in multiple ways, and we can assess that. And most importantly, this system allows us to do a budget management both for the 50% student budget and the 50% other non-student budget. We had a big challenge because Research Foundation at CUNY does not do a bookkeeping for our partner institutions. They do only for CUNY, line item wise. And when NOAA was here in December, they raised a red flag saying that how do you maintain the data for your partner institution? How do you know that a student A was funded for X, Y, Z tuition or stipend? What's your mechanism in place where you can confirm or affirm that a student or the beneficiary has been paid and you are compliant for 50% student spending? So we created this electronic voucher system or invoicing system. I'll show that in a minute. When we assigned a point of contact for each center. Over and above this, this database helps us to abide by the special award conditions by all the campus TIs, and ultimately helps us to achieve those 5 performance metrics that EPP has designed: the number of students recruited and trained and graduated, number of publications, number of research collaborations with NOAA, number of the dollars funded or leveraged or generated, and data products and publications. So these 5 metrics we are all able to collect and report to NOAA in one place. So just a conceptual diagram to visualize how the system is. On the right side, on the left side, as you can see, this is what we are all logging into. It's kind of a cloud, a CREST cloud. It is intranet here at City College, but it has access. It gives access to all the other users through WebDirect. The data is stored in terms of students, research, and management. And this is all on the back end, the blue box. And the yellow box is something that is seen by the world on the front end. It queries the data and puts on the website. So a website is also not a static website. It talks to this database. For example, any student who applies to the CREST program through the central application system automatically parses into this MIS. So if you want to see who has applied, if there's any new student, you can just go to your dashboard and you can see that application's profile, their resume, and their GPA. You don't even have to see on the website. It just comes directly to. So the website is designed in a way that it talks to our MIS constantly. So that's how it's been programmed. So this is our core team. Alec Merber is one of the few FileMaker specialists in the New York City. A FileMaker is a subsidiary of Apple company, and we have Paul, who is our data manager. Any glitches we have or systems related issues, Paul is the contact person. At this point, the super users are Reza and I, but the campus PIs are sub-super users for your own campuses. For example, you would have access to your entire campus database, both for research, students, and your budget. But of course, there are many users at different levels based on their roles and affiliations. We have students, advisors, financial and student coordinators, and academic affair manager, which is Caesar Ortiz. Caesar and Paul, they're both FERPA certified. They took a training with the University FERPA, and they are now officially permitted to use and handle the student data. So and there are some rules to it that you cannot share certain information through email, but only through this site. So, and I want to really thank all the campus PIs for calling up Caesar or contacting him to get your login profile. So with that, I guess we can go to the actual site. What we would do, and Alec is going to help me here. So I'm just going to log off here. So, you already logged in as Victor. Okay, so we have already logged in as student, and what we could do is we can start all over again so you know how it is. So it's mis.noaacrest.org, and you come to this front page, right? So I can do Stu.
That's for
so
the test purposes.
Okay.
.noaacrest.com.
Yes.
For users, you use your username here. Where we have a. If you do that, you're going to end up going in.
Okay.
The other way.
Victor, and then password.
Yeah, you know the password.
Okay. All right. So this is a page for a student, right? As you can see, I am now logged in as Victor Dominguez. He's one of the students at City College. And when he goes to his e-profile, so it's an e-portfolio which consists of different elements that ties with all the program requirements. It's individualized student development plan, his NERTO. If he is a graduate student, he will fill that up. He has an access to his own report and the seminar. And as you can see, if I click on if I click on the ISDP, he is able to fill this information, all the biographic data. The first section is the biographic data. The second one, contact information, what academics he's in, what college or campus he represents, what's his major, degree, and his start date with the program, because there are two things that we need to consider: the start date with the program, and start date with the funding degree, degree start date. And then when we start paying him, so it is, some students can be in the college for 2 years, but they come into the program maybe in the third year. So we really need to differentiate the start date with the degree and the start date with the funding. And then we need to have the LinkedIn account. We mandated this because this award requires 3 years of longitudinal tracking, which means if Victor graduates in 2019, we will track his postgraduate status for another 3 years, whether he's got a job, whether he went to another job, or he went to a graduate school. So that tracking goes on until, this is a requirement, this is a congressional requirement under the return on investment, ROI, that we track the beneficiaries for 3 years. What are their NOAA interests, and what team they are, and here we go. So they can upload their letter of understanding here, the resume, and then responsible conduct of research. Within the letter of understanding, it defines what's the time period they have to do all of these within 90 days and 6 weeks and stuff like that. The resume helps us because we want to know what their future postgraduate goals are, whether they want to go into a job as a private sector or as an academia, or they want to go. So it helps us to help them design their post degree career goals. We would like to know when they would do their core competency, and and the good thing about the system is that they may not have the answers ready right away. They can submit the answers and come back at a later time to fill this up together. And Victor Dominguez has identified, let's see who is his faculty advisor, is Fred Mushari. So Fred Mushari now can see his ISDP plan, and he can review that and make changes to it in coordination with Victor. So that's another ability that it has. So you can, then you have to answer these questions. What are your postgraduate goals? And as you can see, this is a living document. What you have entered here doesn't mean that you really stick to it, because plans change for students. you may have thought you want to do this in the year 2, but you decide to do something else, you can revisit your plan and make those changes. And these are some of the questions that they have to answer that helps us with our internal assessment and assessing the learning curve of the student. And so going back to the dashboard, the student also has to submit a 6-monthly report. And this report aligns with the main report that goes to NOAA. For example, if Fred has to submit a report, he already gets an update from his own student as to what he has achieved and what are the things that he needs to then compile together. And if Fred has 4 students, he can summarize those reports and put it together as one report for that particular task and submit to us. So these are some of the things that the students have to submit. And as you know, in this award, we have to create a center-wide social science framework. So we would like all students to answer this question, that how their research integrates with the social science goals. And for the ready reference, we have attached the social science and the science plan. They can click on this and it just goes to that a PDF document. I have a pop-up blocker. So, but all of these, are available for them for quick, reference. And also, as a learning outcome, we wanted, and this was something suggested by the NOAA chief economist, who is our advisory board member, Dr. Monica Grasso, that have the students create a story map. It's an amazing tool using open source ArcGIS, and they can create their own story map. I know Suhi Ortiz from Puerto Rico did a fantastic job of creating a story map. And Harry and Vanessa just simply loved it, and they want us to, encourage all the students to do that. And they can upload their story maps here, providing a link, and then how their, results connect with the society, and what are the outreach activities they have participated. So this becomes their performance report. So these were the critical part of the students' dashboard. And one other thing for students is that, you got to submit at least one research publication as a master's student, and at least 2 if you are a doctoral student. And this is something that is, again, part of the NRDD, the NOAA Research and Development Database. And students can enter, the publication. This is, again, designed based on a peer-reviewed format. And again, the acknowledgement is very critical, that we acknowledge our grant. So it's, again, readily available for students to, go back. So I go back to the dashboard now. And again, we have seminars. So, for example, Hampton had many seminars. And as you can see, Victor attended only 1 seminar. So it's green box means he attended this seminar. Red means he was not able to attend these 2. So out of the 3 seminars, he attended 1. So this, again, helps us to summarize the assessment for this student. He does not need to do the NERTO because he's not a graduate student. But if you are a graduate student, then you can open up this page. And as you can see that the letter of the MOU that has to be signed by the NOAA mentor is readily available here. The work plan, the template, how the work plan should be made, that's readily available here as an example. And, if you have any questions, again, Caesar or Paul and I, we are available to answer. And once they have done it, they upload their MOU, NOAA MOU form. They can upload their work plan here, and then they upload the offer letter that they get from the NOAA. So again, you can see that everything is reposited in one place. So it really becomes very easy for us to manage the system. And again, once they have done the NERTO, these are some of the assessment-related questions. How was the experience? How much did you learn? And then at the end, they submit a report on their NERTO after they finish the 12 weeks NERTO. So this is the students dashboard. So let's log in now as a faculty. And I'm just going to draw the dummy page.
Faculty and Domi. That
So
sounds
I am
familiar.
logged in as Ruben Delgado. Hey, Ruben. So this is how Ruben's page looks like. And as you can see, Ruben has updated his profile. Congratulations, Ruben. So we have his email address, phone number, what team he is with, who is his NOAA collaborator, what NOAA mission alignment his research is. And also, as you can see, he has all the useful resources related to NERTO. And we can all agree to the fact that the NERTO had been a very challenging experience in the year one. We did not know how to start this whole process. And we, based on our lessons learned, we tried to put all the useful resources at one place. And as you can see, because he's a campus PI, he also has access to his center management dashboard. And he can see.
I have a question.
Miguel, can we keep the questions at the end because we are video recording that, so we want to make sure all the tutorials together. So the students are all here, and he can go to the students. So, for example, Meredith Sperling's ISDP is here, and if he has any questions or he wants Meredith to change something, he can go and recommend that. And when Ruben has to submit the report, he goes to his template here. And as you can see, the report is based on the NOAA guidance. There are 7 sections, as you can see my cursor. And each section is important and should be answered. We have added again the implementation plan as a reference document. And the previous performance reports are up here. So if you have any, you want to see what you submitted in the last 6 months, this is your reference document. This is the reporting period you're submitting your report. What are the accomplishments and what team are you working on? So, and for example, if you say you're working on team 2, project 2, which students worked on it, you just click on here and you add Meredith here and add her project number. And if it's Matthew, you say Matthew worked on this project number, and if you did it by error, you can delete it. You can also add the NOAA collaborators. Yeah. And also what the goal and objectives. We tried our best to maintain the reporting template to acquire the quality control for the fact that sometimes when we have this question, what are your goals and objectives? We get a report in a Word document about 10 pages only on goals and objectives, and I'm not exaggerating. It really becomes hard when we are compiling the whole report together. As to when we compile all the 40 objectives from 40 faculty, it becomes a 45-page only on one subsection of a document. So that's why we identified a list, what are the things, and then when you have to submit your progress, again, we have a word limit of 500 words. So it really alerts you when you're exceeding the word limit. That's another way to quality control the report. You can certainly upload your images and your graphs. We can attach that as an appendix to our final report, and we would love to add that to the website as well. As you can see at this point, our research page is so stagnant and static. But however, there's so much wonderful research being done by all our amazing faculty members. But this report will help us to collect that data and then generate that on the website. And again, what are the results? All these questions are as per the NOAA template. The important thing again is the products of your award that ties with the return on investment, the dollars. You can check mark as many as you think was the products. And then if you have a publication, it allows you to go to the publication dashboard so that all the publications are at one page. Not working? Oh, I think it did work. Yeah, it did work.
You have pop-up blockers on. Don't click on
Oh, pop-up blocker. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But it gets me to the dashboard. I'll show you how it looks. And the reason why it takes you to the publication dashboard is that dashboard is common to all the researchers, be it San Diego State University or CUNY or Puerto Rico. we want a collective number for the publication. So it's a one dashboard that has an access to all of you. And again, when you have the NRDD, I have a pop-up blocker on my Surface Pro, but yeah, here it is. But here, this is the template again from NOAA. As you can see, all that information up here has to be submitted. We have a data management committee. Sam Shen and Paul are co-chair of that. We are hoping that each team would be able to get us this update, going back to the report again. And as you can see, so the other sections are section 3, who are the participants in this performance, and I can actually put the amount of time they've worked, and it just calculates the efforts by it. And this is something that is required, that if you really worked on this project, you really have to add your time spent on this. And again, who are the NOAA collaborators who worked on this project? And if you have a leverage student, here is the page, here is an opportunity for you to tell us, these are the students who were not funded by CREST, but they worked on the NOAA Mission Science. You can add their name and what degree level and major they were working on. For the impact, again, we wanted to help you by creating a drop down. You can say that the impact of the future workforce because of this project or task was creating a core competency, or if you think that this is not the one, that you can select other and explain that in that box. And what is the impact of your research? Again, we try to give you some drop down. It helps you to stay consistent across all the inputs that we receive. And then the social science, and the list is clear here. And one of the question is how your research has transitioned to R2X. And we have explained here what R21 and R29 means. And if you think your work is basic research, then you can say yes, it is, and select the level number here. When you say to be safe, probably your basic research or applied research, you can respond that as well. Sorry about that. Changes and challenges. This is critical for us to know that, because sometimes the research has not progressed based on the timeline that we propose in the implementation plan, but it had some reason. Maybe the GOZAR was launched late and we didn't get the data, or JPSS was not launched on time. So anything that has a challenge, you may report it here. The special award conditions, some of these are general to all the faculty or affiliates. And if you have a pre-publication manuscript, it comes here. You need to provide the status, whether it's submitted or under review or in press. And then how the NOAA has been substantially engaged. You can write stories about Alaska Barrow or Samoa Island, or how the NOAA has helped in your project. And then again, the leverage funding, this again is very critical for us. So if you have any collaborative project you received as a result of your engagement with NOAA, you may mention it here. And again, we do not want, for example, you may have a $5 million grant and you're one of the 20 PIs. We do not want to know that we got $5 million as a result of the leverage, but we want to know how much that PI received as a part of that $5 million. So we really want it to be authenticated on that part, because this is very critical. So that's the report. And as you can see, yes, the one good thing about this is, and it all starts with the best and the brightest students that we recruit. So when the students apply to the CREST program, and there's a central application system, we all know it's on the website. This is where the applications get deposited. As you can see, that all the students who are in cohort 1 and 2 are being nominated. So what we do is, for example, Isabel Bainan was nominated for cohort 2, and Stephen Buckner is nominated for cohort 2 as well. So as you can see, all the students who are now recruited, but you can see there are many students who still applied. So we want to see total number of students who applied, how many students really made into the program, and how they were nominated by. And for example, I want to search a student and I'm trying to recruit a student. I do not know the name, but I'm in team 3. So I can just go and I'm from, San Diego State University. Let's do that. Oh, these are the students that they apply, right?
That's where they're from.
Okay. These are the students' applications, for example. So, okay, let's see. I want to see who applied from Miami or a clear search. Search all.
Maybe, yeah.
Let's do Puerto Rico. So for Puerto Rico, these many students applied. Suhili Francesca is also recruited. We need to nominate her. She's in the process. And Jean was recently nominated. So the good thing is before you nominate the student, you can actually see their personal statement as to why they want to be part of this program. And then once you like it, for example, I can go and recruit that. And once I do recruit here, as you can see, she is not available to other faculty to recruit, which means that this student is under review by a faculty. So it's a real-time system. Otherwise, two faculty would nominate the same student. We do not want that. So we want that whoever sees this application and finds this a very relevant student and very good credentials, they can go and nominate right away. So now I can see that that student is Suhili now is unrecruited. That means she's not available to be recruited by another faculty. Now I can go back to the dashboard and I am the one who recruited. So I go to the nomination form and I see that Suhili is on this page. So I select the student and I nominate that. So here it is. Suhili is the name of the student. Which institute I'm nominating? This is Ruben Delgado's page, for example. So I'm nominating for UMBC. And she is an undergraduate, and which cohort I'm nominating for cohort 2. And then, has the student applied to the NOAA CREST fellowship? Yes. And this too, as you can see, it is auto-filled because this was parsed from the application system. The application reviews the applications based on the criteria. If they're not U.S. citizen, it does not show up here. If they are not 3.0 and above GPA, it does not show here. So as you can see, these are auto-filled. The ethnicity is auto-filled. And then you need to say, how did you review the academic records of the student and why you think that, the student is a good fit for this task? And did you discuss these requirements, that the GPA should always be maintained 3.0 and above? They should be full-time student status. They must submit the implementation plan within 90 days, and they should complete a core competency and all these requirements, because students should be made aware of before they sign the LOU that here is the full package that you're receiving for making a better out of you. So, and these are the way you professionally advance yourself. They need to know that. And what team have you nominated? If you are nominating that student for, say, heat stress. So I say she will be working on this project, and what is the student's role and contribution to this task deliverable? She will download the data, or she will be helping in developing the algorithm. So whatever is the task that she would be doing, you would do that. And can I submit this button? Is it going to mess up?
Cancel, yeah.
Okay.
Cancel,
because if I submit the button, then it
no.
will say that she's been nominated, and now because
no.
it's a demo, I'm not going to say yes. I'm going to say no. Yeah. So because this was just a demo. So that's how you nominate a student. And the reason we need to do this in this same way is once the student is nominated, then the team here, like Caesar and Olga, will pick that student up, and then they create the web profile. And here the student's information goes in right away. And it is all works hand in hand. For example, if you see here, About us, go to the cohort 2. So this information for all the cohort 2, we don't have to come back to you guys and bother you with emails after emails. We get all that information. We put the web profile for all the students up here. As you can see, it is automatically connected to our web profile. So we would be able to get, unless you nominate, we cannot get that information. And that's why the system really works hand in hand together. So that's the faculty dashboard. Now let's do quickly the financial dashboard, and then we'll take the questions. So let's go to the financial dashboard for, this is what Ruben can see. And Ruben is a one-man show. He's the only one at UMBC, and we appreciate his hard work in putting the students' information by himself. So as you can see, he can go and update the students' information, like how much stipend was paid. And this is very critical, up to the penny, that we get this information from your end, electronically signed by the campuses. We do not know, because we are not paying the student directly, so we cannot say that student A from Puerto Rico or from UMBC was paid XYZ, because we are not providing the payment. So this was another thing that NOAA raised, that how do you maintain the internal vouchering system with your campuses? So if I say that, so because Ruben is saying that he paid $17,280, he would electronically sign that. And by signing it, he's saying that this is an authentic information, and he would submit sign button. I'm not going to do that now, but that's how it is. So this box becomes green and says it's signed. And then once it's done, it's, hide this one, go to the dashboard, and I can then see the summary. So as you can see, there are two columns. So you are committing a particular amount for the student. So I can summarize that UMBC will spend $96,000 for these 3 students under cohort 1, right? But how much of that $96,000 was actually spent is here. And this is perhaps because we are still building the system, and I'm sure Ruben spent more than that, but he can, when he puts the data there, it populates here, and we can say at one stroke that 50% of the budget spending has been complied by UMBC, and there you go, we can report to NOAA. The other thing that is done is the non-student budget. So the 50% is the student, but the other 50% is personnel, supplies, and admin costs. And this is a voucher, then again, either your respective office or sponsor program or your internal coordinators can submit it, because as you know, all the campus PIs, most of the time you tell Reza that you have already submitted the money, but here we have not received the invoices. So this is an internal mechanism by which we can track that, hey, you already submitted you already say that you have spent the money, but our budget office has not received the invoice, because that's not coming from you, it's coming from your office or sponsor program. So we want to make sure we are all on the same page. And again, this is the payment type is based on the SF424. And then you need to put the payment date or when the invoice has been released, how much amount. And again, as you can see that these two are signed. So, and everything that comes in, then you can go back and you can see, no, I'm looking at the student report and the center report.
Go back to it.
Yeah, here, center report
there it
summary.
is.
Yeah. So you can see that the center report summary, how much you spent out of the other 50%. So you can see here both student and the center. So you go back to the dashboard. Now, the one other thing that the the campus PIs and the CUNY campus PI, which is Reza, has to do is submit an institutional report. And the institutional report has a few questions that is not necessarily a researcher needs to respond, like, how much direct support you have provided to the students, how many undergraduates were recruited from your campus to apply to NOAA scholarship program. That's a special award condition. Have your students all submitted their ISDP plans? Has your student created a success pathway? This again, the education expert and the academic affair manager would help all the students develop that, but you can get this information for your own campus and provide. Please identify and provide details on how new and existing collaborators have been created. This is another important aspect of collaborative research is none of the research can be done without a NOAA collaborator. So and every time you can have a new one coming in. So you can report that here. And then these are the 6 matrix that NOAA has: number of students, underrepresented community, number of students who graduated, number of students who were trained, and stuff like that. And the final one is the 6-month budget report. Again, it is based on the SF 424. This is the guidance that NOAA wants us to submit, and your financial person can enter that this reporting period, which is September 1, 2017 to February 28, 2018, this much amount was submitted. And at our end, then our budget person will collect the data for all the 5 partner institutions plus CUNY and submit one report that goes into the grants online. So it is very critical that we get that authentication at campus level so we are able to get the numbers correct to NOAA. So that's how, that's pretty much the nutshell of the program. Now I can, yes, so the postdoc also has, postdoc also is one of the special award condition requirements. So what we would do is go to, William Hernandez is the only postdoc we have. Oh, post. Okay, and then, okay, so this is his dashboard, and there will be 2 students, 2 postdocs per award. And by the way, we still have 1 position open for the year 1, and we're still looking for a good student candidate who has finished the PhD no more than 24 months. And they do not have to be a CSE funded student. If you have a candidate who is from your department or campus, who is working and who is willing to work on with a NOAA mentor on a NOAA project, they can apply. At this point, we have 1 postdoc, that's William Hernandez. As you can see, it's his portfolio. Yes, and then he submits his what is his area of research interest. When did he start that? In July 2017. Who is his CREST advisor? What's the research that he's going to work on? And where will he be spending his 6 months? The requirement of the postdoc, it is a 2-year fellowship, up to $50,000 plus 6-month collocation to a NOAA facility. So, and this NOAA facility could be anywhere in the country. But because William's work is affiliated with Coral Reef Watch, he's going to spend the 6 months in Coral Reef program in College Park. And again, he has to submit his, what are his postdoc goals, what are his workforce goals, and then he can also submit a report, right? Yes. He uploads his plan, which he already uploaded. It's on the back end, and then he will upload how he's going to mentor the graduates and undergraduates. So a postdoc is typically like a liaison, a research scientist liaison between NOAA and CREST. So it is a center-wide position. Even though if a student is from Puerto Rico, he or she will be working with all the center students and perhaps give a couple seminars. Right now, William Hernandez is due for giving a 1 NOAA seminar in April. So, and he will be helping with the summer bridge program as well. So these are some of the things that a postdoc has to do as part of their own professional development. I think I'm pretty much done with with all of them. Yeah, yeah. Should we record the Q&A, or we can pause it, right? Right.
No, he said to keep recording.
Okay,
I know.
we are going to keep videoing it or record it, and then we open it to questions. I mean, maybe we just have the main questions, and then after that we can stop taping and then ask other questions. So go ahead, and if you have any questions, Miguel, you ask a question in the middle.
Miguel, you had a question, right?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Okay.
So if
Question.
no major
May I ask a question, please?
Yes.
so you can stop the
Yeah, I just
tape.
need to check.
Stop the recording.